So I asked you all in the community section who you wanted me to take a look at today. It was Chapel Rowan, who I do like a lot. I like some of her songs a lot. There was who else? Justin Bieber, and there was P Diddy. Now, the last video I did on P. Diddy really does cover everything that's happening right now. Everything I said was going to happen is currently happening. And there's a lot more to happen. So we don't really need a P. Diddy update. Chapel could have been cool, but you guys chose Justin Bieber. You wanted to know what's up with the Biebs. So everybody knows that Justin Bieber has connections with a lot of different people in the entertainment industry, the music industry. But not everybody knows that when Justin first started as a child, he was signed to Usher. And Usher used to be signed and was under P. Diddy. So there's a lot of very disturbing video footage that has been resurfacing since the entire P. Diddy, um, scandal has come out. And one of those videos is Justin Bieber. As a child, I think he was like 15 years old, and he looked very nervous. And he was talking to Diddy, and Diddy was talking about how they were going to spend 48 hours together. And now looking back on some of these videos, some of it is like if you look at it from a certain lens, it could look like they were just hanging out, maybe driving cars or what 15-year-olds like to do. Maybe he was just showing them a good time. He wasn't famous yet. He was just becoming famous. But it also is like kind of creepy, because I remember one of the videos, a different one, Justin looked scared of Diddy. He looked scared. And I remember saying that before all of this happened, before the indictment, before the raid, before all of this happened, I saw that video and I was like, why does Justin look so nervous? But I blew it off because I was like, well, maybe, he hadn't seen him in a while. I don't know. I kind of blew it off like everybody else in America until this happened. Now it's like, maybe he was scared for a reason. So you guys asked me to take a look at what the real deal is here between Bieber and Diddy. And I must say up front that this reading is alleged for entertainment purposes only. There are no facts here, just my interpretation of what I get from the cards that I'm getting ready to show you. This does not reflect anyone's opinion, including Google, YouTube, anybody else, just all me. It's all me, okay? No facts, just opinions. So I'm going to show you what I see in the cards. And underneath this video, you can let me know what you think, okay? My name is QueenAusetHeru, and thank you for joining me for the wonderful edition of Ask an Aquarius. If you haven't already, please hit the red subscribe button and smack the bell. Also, if you like this video, please drop it a thumbs up and pass it on to anybody and everybody who is wondering about this same issue. If you would like to get your own personal reading done, please hit me up on my social media. Underneath this video, you're going to find all of the decks that I'm going to use right now for this reading. Then you're going to find my personal information, my Patreon, my PayPal, and my Cashapp in case you want to give a donation to the channel. And everything else that you need to know, you'll find underneath this video. So let's get started, okay? All right, I'm gonna go in so you can see the cards really good. All right, first of all, it's October, what's today? October 5th, or is it the 6th? I can't recall. I think it's I don't know. I don't know what day it is. I don't know what day it is. It's either the 5th or the 6th. And it's spooky season, basically what I would call it. So I pulled out Disney Villains Tarot. So that's what you're getting ready to see. And let me move these out of the way so I can have some more space and pull the cards up for you. All right, so right here, this tells us what happened between Bieber and Diddy. This is Bieber. It's telling us that basically Diddy was using Bieber for money. Back then, when he was under Usher and he was under other people. That's what you do as a producer. You use your artist to make records, do tours, and make money. So he wasn't under Diddy, he was under Usher at that time. So it was really about business. Promoting this young artist was about business, making money, that kind of thing. But as we're getting ready to see, the money wasn't just for the business aspect. This card is telling us that he also was getting favors for Justin. So, according to this vibration, that's telling us that he basically was pimping Justin out. I don't know the who because it doesn't tell us in here who. It just says that he was doing that. He was pimping him out to his to wealthy, whoever had the coin. We see the coin in a person's hand, and this would be a wealthy person. So wealthy person who had the coin. So he was getting favors, he was getting money for in exchange for letting them get at Justin. And we've seen some of this in the videos. We've seen him at parties drinking, and kind of I saw him a couple times really out of it. So we've seen some of this. So this card is actually co-signing that vibration. This is Diddy. Diddy comes up reversed as the King of Swords. So when the King of Swords is reversed, this is a king who is very not really communicative. You do what this king says. He's very unfeeling. He's very unsympathetic. He's kind of dead in the eyes sometimes, and we do see that with Diddy. This king is not a stranger to criminal activity either. Depending upon the other cards we're getting ready to see, this king can be in all kinds of criminal activities. So we see that's how Diddy is coming up. The outcome card tells us that Diddy was using, we always talk about Diddy using different forms of magic, dark magic though, to control Bieber, and to, keep his influence over other people as well. This card also indicates that these were unwanted SA. Because in this card, when it's reversed, that's what it stands for sometimes, depending on the other cards, unwanted sexual encounters, which we would call RAPE. So 9 times out of 10, it looks like Justin was coerced into these things with magic or with drugs. That's what's coming up for this one. So a lot of people, I feel like, have called this. I called this when I first saw that video I told you about earlier. Justin also got the Five of Pentacles. The Five of Pentacles is depression, is sadness. So this situation has really left Justin with a lot of emotional trauma. And a lot of people have called that too. I've seen it. We've seen Justin. If you listen to his music, which I don't, I don't think I've ever heard a Justin Bieber song. But I heard him saying some of the lyrics in a video the other day. And it was obvious that he had been hurt. There was some trauma there. And this Two of Swords right here indicates that trauma when it's reversed like that. Notice that all of the cards except for this one were, not all the cards, but many of the cards. Let me show you. Not that one. So these two are in the upright, but the other ones are all reversed. So this indicates a lot of difficult energy going on. And this Two of Swords indicates a conflict. So not only was Justin left with depression, he's also left with a conflict. And Justin is very concerned about his coin. He's very interested and concerned about his money and his fame and his brand, I would say. So right now when we see things coming out, that's going to be one of his big considerations, is how is this going to affect him? How is it going to affect his family? How is it going to affect his brand? So there's a lot of this kind of trauma energy going on with Justin at the hands of this monster. All right, so let's see, what else do we see? A lot of you probably, I'm telling you, a lot of you are not going to be surprised when you see this aspect of the reading, because a lot of you already knew this. Now I pulled some T cards to see what else was here, so we're going to go a little bit deeper. Let me pull this back here. So this energy should look familiar to you guys. There we go. We have here the multiple, I wouldn't even call it lovers. That's what this card would call it, but I would say multiple Rapists. That's what I would call this, because Justin was 15 years old when all of this first started going on. So all of this group sex that he would have been a part of wasn't really, I mean, I guess is, you can argue that anything done over 18 is consensual. Anything under 18 is not. And anything that you do when under the influence of magic or drugs or alcohol is also not consent. So that's why I said this is definitely SA. So they're telling us that there was multiples, and I said that before. He was tossed around to multiple different people, including Diddy, getting pleasure off of this young boy. We see the dirty offer here. So he was given certain things to be quiet, coerced to be quiet, things like that. Dirty offers are like when you give somebody $10,000, but you've just traumatized them and then told them they better not tell nobody. It's that kind of vibe coming from here. And of course, we all know, what did he call himself? Puff Daddy. So he came off to him, or off to Justin, with this kind of, daddy, rich man kind of energy. And at that point, Puffy, he was this big, big deal, So that was the energy. And he used that power, he used that money, he used that influence to not only traumatize this poor young guy, but take advantage of him. It says he was very obsessive. Whenever Diddy has a victim, he's obsessive about his victims. It says obsessive lover. I would say obsessive perpetrator, because again, you have to be consensual for someone to be your lover. It said it was a dangerous situation. It was toxic. It was unhealthy. He was possessive of Justin. And this makes sense because in the video, he said to Justin, "Why don't we hang out?" This is a quote. "Why don't we hang out anymore the way we used to?" End quote. And Justin looks terrified. And he's like, because, oh, you don't have my new number. Like he had to think of something real quick. And it's terrifying because he's a child at the time. He's like 17 maybe. And it's like, you could tell he's scared. So that's that possessive energy. And a lot of the other victims that I've seen some of the videos online, and a lot of other victims have said the same thing about Diddy. He did exactly the same thing to other victims who now have not class action. They now have lawsuits. There's 120 lawsuits currently against Diddy for this type of behavior, and many of them tell a similar story. And it says here that Diddy would lie. See this no facts card here? He would do basically, I mean, he would lie, he makes shit up, he gaslights. Diddy does whatever he has to do to maintain control over his victims. And unfortunately, we're seeing that it's very, very alleged, according to my reading, that Justin was one of those victims. And that's the part about it that's so heart wrenching, because he was a kid. It's one thing when adults decide they want to do something. If you want to go to a freak off, be my guest. But if you're not old enough or aware enough to consent, then that is a problem. They told me that this situation is going to be very healing for Justin. So the trial, I asked him about how the trial would affect Justin. And the cards told me it would be healing for him. And I really was happy to hear that because I was concerned that it would be traumatizing for him. But actually going through, watching this trial happen, experiencing, seeing Diddy, get his just desserts is going to be very healing for Justin. He still has not healed from this trauma. And I mean, think about it. Some people would never heal from this trauma, but it is going to be a part of Justin's healing journey. That's why Justin is so into spirit and spirituality. He was talking about how he's a Christian. So it's going to take him further into his spiritual journey as well. It's going to test his resilience. It's going to test his strength. And I think he's going to rise to the occasion based on this because they're telling me that he is as resilient as a succulent. And that's pretty awesome because succulents are pretty resilient. So even though this has been a hard time for him, he's going to continue to weather the storm. That's what that's given me. Throughout, he's going to try to do that throughout this trial. Now, Justin may be named in this trial because he may be on the tapes. We don't know what's on the tapes and all that kind of stuff, but the feds do. So Justin may actually be served in some kind of way to come aboard on this trial. So it says here that he's going to be taking some type of action during this trial. This action could be public action or it could be behind the scenes. So for example, he may have to testify against Diddy. He may end up, making a statement. He may end up pulling strings behind, closed doors because he doesn't want to come out publicly. We don't know what's going to happen with that aspect yet because all they're telling me is that there's going to be an action, but they're not telling me what kind of action. They just tell me he's going to take some actions to take back his personal power. So in a lot of cases, a survivor will do different things to take back their personal power. One of those things is testifying against their perpetrator. That's one thing. Also, like I said before, doing things behind the scenes is another way that famous people especially take back their personal power. So this is going to be healing for Justin because whatever power moves he make are going to be moves to take back that energy. So that's why this is so healing for him because it's like taking back your power. And anybody who's ever been in an SA situation, you know what I'm talking about when I say that because when somebody assaults you in this way, it's like your power has been stripped from you. You've been violated in this kind of way. It's the ultimate violation, and when you're able to snatch that power back by testifying against them or by doing whatever, we're getting ready to see. Because I'm not sure exactly how he's going to kick this, but we're getting ready to see some possibilities. So it said that at the time that this started, Justin was just a pure heart. Look at that beautiful pure heart. And he was a kid. He's a beautiful, pure heart. He wanted to be famous. He was all bright eyed. I don't know if you guys remember when Justin Bieber first came out, but he was kind of annoying to me because he was so bright eyed and bushy tailed. And I'm looking back and I'm like, I wish he had stayed that way. And they're telling us that that's who he was up front. He wanted to be a pioneer. He had a passion for doing and creating. He wanted to do things that have never been done before. That's how he came into this business. And this is the most disgusting part about what Diddy did. Diddy took away from people their passion. He took away that light in Justin's eyes. You know what I'm saying? And that's disgusting. He comes into this business wanting to create, wanting to be famous, wanting to see pretty women, wanting to have a good time. And his youth and enthusiasm, youth, motivation, creativity was preyed upon by this disgusting beast. And that's the vibe that we're getting from here. So over time, because he wanted to, be famous and do this kind of stuff, Justin slowly but surely, it says it's the shadow aspect, so using power for self-aggrandizement. So slowly but surely he really became a slave to the power, and to the clout and to stuff like that. And you can even see that now with him because when he does a song and his song doesn't do well, he's online asking fans to download his music. I mean, I've seen videos of him talking to fans, literally asking them to download his music because he wasn't really pleased with how much, attention the album or the single got. So he got, this grooming is what did this to him. So they said in the present tense, detective. Now this is interesting. He's trying to use some type of, he's trying to get information, it says here. So he wants to know the truth. He's trying to find more truths and make those truths come to light. So this would be the truths about what happened to him and any truths about what he knows about what happened to others. So Justin has more information than we even know. This card too came up reversed, the Avenger. Yeah, he remember I said taking his power back, resorting to violence in the name of a cause. So he may resort behind the scenes, or we may even see it. We may see Bieber go off. We may see Bieber snap. We may see Bieber cuss somebody out. May see him go off. And we might not. We might not see what this violence is because they keep telling us that it could be behind the scenes. So you're doing these things looking for truth, looking to expose truth from behind the scenes. So we might not see this as the public, and we very well might. It really depends on what happens, but it's going to be happening. Regardless if we see it or not, it's going to be happening. So this could be arguments, this could be anger, this could be any of those kind of things. And take a look at this: balancing justice and compassion, managing the fair distribution of power. So he really wants justice. And that's what goes into this card and what goes into this card. He wants justice, and that's how he's going to take his power back. So I don't know how Justin is going to get that justice, if it's going to be behind the scenes or right on camera. But it's very possible that we may see all or a lot of this. Because remember, all the celebrities right now are scrambling. They scrambling right now. They either don't want to be a part of this, they trying to distance themselves from this. Everybody is trying to see, trying to cover their own ass. And the victims, including Justin, are trying to cover themselves as far as getting this compassion, getting this justice. Now, another thing you have to remember, some of these victims were made, coerced, drugged, so they may even be doing things. We might see 15, 16-year-old Justin Bieber being coerced into committing crimes in these videos as well. Again, he's going to be seeking justice for that. So we're going to see a lot of this, him taking back his power, trying to get justice, trying to put the truth out there, being, upset or angry, this kind of stuff. But this is where Justin is right now in this process. And lastly, I really wanted to know, how does this affect Justin? Because Justin is a married man at this point. I know he seems like a kid to all of us who saw him grow up, but he's a married man and he has a baby. So I asked, how does this trauma currently, how has it been affecting him? So it has been affecting his love life. It's been affecting his ability to love and be loved. He is in a relationship. Like I said, he does have a baby, but he's been struggling, it says, with that. He's been struggling with this part. There's so many things about his past that his partners don't know. So he has to struggle with that aspect of it. It's hard for him to trust. It's hard for him to be vulnerable in that vibration. It's hard for him to follow his heart in that vibration. So yeah, we may see him dating. We saw him get married. We saw him have a kid. But what we're not seeing is the struggle, because this is what goes on behind the scenes. Remember, just because we see these celebrities on the red carpet and in their Instagram lives doesn't mean that we know what is struggling in their heart, their emotions, their feelings. So we don't know. I mean, Justin has dated several high profile women, and from what I understand, there's always been issues. Even with the current wife, there has been issues. So the question then becomes why? It takes two to tango. So we don't know what's going on with the wife, but we do know that he's having these problems with love. He's having these problems with hiding parts of himself and leaving things out, and having these problems with following his heart. Sometimes they say he's too detached. Of course you're going to be detached if you're disassociating or dealing with trauma. And it also is going to lead, in some cases, to codependencies. So this trauma has not only affected his career, it has not only affected his emotional mental health, it's also affected his relationships with other people, how he loves and doesn't love. It's going to affect his relationships with his parents, with his, any family members, really, women, anybody, his kid, anybody who he loves or wants to love. This situation, this trauma is going to affect that. And this is, like I said before, one of the most disgusting parts about Diddy's crimes is that he's destroying people's lives. There was another victim who mentioned that he completely left the music business because of what Diddy did to him. So people have given up their dreams or had their dreams tampered with or deferred because of Diddy. Maybe Justin would have been able to follow his heart and have happier relationships with Selena Gomez or his current wife or whoever had this trauma not been inflicted upon an impressionable young child. He was literally a child. So we don't really get a lot of specifics. We just know that these things happen. We know that Justin is coming for his healing too. So I hope that all of the survivors get healing. I hope they all get justice. I hope that all this truth comes out because we see every day more and more truths are coming out. Like I told you guys, I told you there's going to be truth and there's going to be lies. But we're seeing a lot of truth and we're seeing people being able to back up those truths. People have, according to the lawsuits that are coming out, people have eyewitnesses. Some of them actually reported it to at the time that it happened. So we have all kinds of stuff, all kinds of truths that are going to continue to come out. And you're going to have to weed through the lies. I'm telling y'all right now, there's a lot of lies out there. Somebody sent me something earlier today, and she and I were talking about that. There's a lot of lies. There's a lot of deception. There's going to be a lot of people trying to, get rich or try to, cash in on this whole travesty. Whenever there's a travesty, there's unscrupulous people who try to, cash in on it. But we're going to hear a lot of truth, and that's what you have to listen for. Listen to the facts of the case. Listen to news that is fact checking before they're putting out information. Listen to, if you're going to watch YouTube videos, look at people who are fact checking. I'm fact checking before I even do my readings to make sure I know what I'm talking about. So we're going to see a lot of that truth. We're going to see a lot of those lies. We're going to see a lot of those lies, deflated as time progresses. So yeah, we're going to see that. We're going to see a lot more of that. This is not over. This has just begun, people. This is the very, very beginning. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section. And you come back soon. This is a very heartbreaking reading. But honestly, I already knew this. I knew it in my heart when I listened to certain things he said, when I watched him talk to Diddy in that last interview. I knew it in my heart that something bad was there. I just didn't know what. And now we know what. Okay? So, please come back soon because I got a lot more to say. See you later.